Chris, you can have the first pick then. The best free agent signings of all time. What do you got?
Okay, I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna avoid quarterbacks a little here. Okay, because I mean we do is talk about quarterbacks, so I'm gonna try to be a little different. Not to disrespect anybody. Remember, one quarterback I take in the third round. But first off, I mean, how do you not say Reggie White? I mean, Reggie White is free agency. To me, he's the poster child. And, of course, when he went into free agency, he was the best defensive player in the NFL. Yeah, might have been just leaving his prime right there on the edge of it. But that was big news, leaving that vaunted Philadelphia Eagles team, and whoa, he's going to join Brett Favre and the Packers. Watch out for them. To me, that'll always be the biggest free agent signing I can remember.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And that was the moment that free agency became a thing for the NFL. And Reggie White, and this was a little known tweak in the settlement of the antitrust lawsuit that was filed by the players against the league after the 87 strike imploded. The union went away and they filed that lawsuit. Part of the settlement, Reggie White could not be franchise tagged, or he would have been. But he was one of the named plaintiffs, and the named plaintiffs were not allowed to be franchise tagged, and that's what allowed him to go on that tour and there was Phil getting swallowed up by Reggie White.
We deserve a percentage of his salary there he made in Green Bay. I mean, gosh, Phil just, got sacked by him all the time. We helped him out.
I think, didn't we have the trivia question recently, what he got on that first contract? It was 4 years, $17 million.
Something crazy like that.
All right, Drew Brees for me.
Yeah.
Free agent who the Chargers in 2005 applied, I believe, the franchise tag to keep him around. His original contract expired after 2004. They had drafted Phillip Rivers. They weren't ready to move on fully and completely to Rivers. He became the free agent with that shoulder injury that happened in his final game with the Chargers, 20-plus studs in his shoulder. The Dolphins said, we can't do it. The Saints took the chance. 15 years later, he retires as one of the great quarterbacks of all time, delivered as many Super Bowl championships to New Orleans as Reggie White did to Green Bay.
Yeah.
So Drew Brees. And you can make the argument that but when you consider full impact on city, that Drew Brees is even above Reggie White.
Yeah, I hear you there. That is. It's definitely one of the greatest free agent signings ever, especially when you take into account, you're right, the circumstances of the city, and then Drew Brees' injury coming off of, the shoulder surgery and all that. Just remarkable, what he did from that point on. It really is. All right, my next one, I'm staying on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going prime time. Deion Sanders, yes. Deion Sanders might be, you could say twice. Whether it's going to the San Francisco 49ers in 1994 from the Atlanta Falcons, you sat there and you just went, oh, man, the 49ers are good. Are they as good as the Cowboys? Can they really beat them? And then they got Deion, and it gave them a whole different feel and aura about them to where you just went that year. You just went, they're winning the Super Bowl. Between Steve Young and the way he got going and Deion doing pick sixes and all of that. And then, of course, the next year with Dallas Cowboys, he goes there and wins the Super Bowl there. So Deion Sanders, without a doubt, to me, is one of the greatest free agent signings in the history of football.
Yeah, absolutely, and got a ring in 94 and a ring in 95 and a lot of money along the way. Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning, 2012. They lined up to get Peyton Manning. He was very careful. He was judicious. He ultimately chose the Broncos, and right out of the gates, at a time when we didn't know what he had left. And if the Colts had any idea how much he had left, I don't know. Would they have pressed pause on Andrew Luck and kept Peyton Manning? I'd like to think that if you could get the truth out of Jim Irsay, he'd say, especially with Andrew Luck retiring after only 8 seasons, it may have been worth it to keep Peyton around for 2012, 13, 14, 15, and push for a second Super Bowl win, because Peyton Manning got that second Super Bowl win in Denver. So I remember the intensity of the coverage.
Yeah.
What a big deal it was 9 years ago when he was released,
right,
when he was courted, when he signed, and then the double whammy because they unloaded Tebow onto the Jets after they got Peyton Manning. That gave that story an even extra, a little bit of a
boost. Yeah, you're right. Definitely. And, of course, Peyton Manning, we didn't know where he was physically. Like, what's it going to be like? They have a great defense there. Is their offense going to be good enough for him to thrive? And then they signed Wes Welker, and, of course, they had Demaryius Thomas at a young age and all that. And, I mean, he did special things those first few years. There's no doubt. Man, I'm tempted. I mean, because I got a lot of good names on my list. Of course, there's Tom Brady on there. Jim Plunkett's a guy I think about. I mean, of all the free agent signings, he's the guy that won 2 Super Bowls off after that, even though that was forever ago. But I'm going to go with Charles Woodson. I'm going to go C-Dub, all right? The old C-Dub from Michigan. You know, of course, got drafted by the Raiders. He went there, had a good first few years of his career, played in the Super Bowl, had that, like, I believe it was turf toe for a few years there that kind of led to some underwhelming plays on the Raiders, but then went to Green Bay, and not only was he awesome, but like a Deion Sanders, just gave them a different juice on the defensive side of the ball and could do everything. Nickel, corner, safety, whatever you want. You know, he became a guy that could play really all positions in the secondary, and he was a big part of them getting that Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers in 2010 and doing that. So I'll go with Charles Woodson as my last one.
I think it was Defensive Player of the Year.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
The year that they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So Woodson goes to Green Bay and they win a Super Bowl eventually. Peyton Manning goes to Denver. They win a Super Bowl eventually. Deion Sanders has that bang, bang, back-to-back,
right.
49ers, Cowboys, Super Bowl, one each in each stop. Reggie White goes to Green Bay. They win a Super Bowl eventually. Drew Brees goes to New Orleans. They win a Super Bowl eventually. So a Super Bowl win gets you a seat at the table. So
apparently.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, yes.
Gotta be Tom Brady.
Right.
He's he's 1 for 1.
Yeah.
He's the only one of all those guys who has a chance to get to number 2. And he could get to number 2 as soon as this year. Peter King and I were talking about this yesterday. The idea that keeping the band together is no guarantee that you're going to be great again. It's not. But when you have that force of nature in Tom Brady, who is determined to get to number 8, it's not about number 2 for him. It's about number 8.
Yeah.
I think that, look, a lot of things can happen from week 1 to week 17 and into the postseason, but they're positioned. They're in the conversation,
no doubt,
even more than they were last year to get the second. So I'll go with Tom Brady, and maybe he should have been even higher.
Well, yeah.
All right, let's take a break.
Probably, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, you're right. Probably, yeah. There's no doubt. I mean, and you're right. I mean, but it's weird that we've seen a Super Bowl team that's got this many young players in their prime and things like that. That's where it's unique compared to other. I feel like most Super Bowl teams, you got a lot of, guys in the 7th and 8th and 9th years of their career, and now they're going to look to leave the team and get one more payday before it all ends, and that's what's unique about this Tampa team. I also had Shannon Sharp on my list. Simeon Rice was on my list, and Curtis Martin was also on my list, just to give those guys love, because I think they were pretty awesome free agent signings too.
Simeon Rice, yeah. I mean, he was with the Cardinals. You don't think of him as a guy who was with the Cardinals, but he comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2001, and in many respects, he was that last piece of the defense that pushed everything over the top and helped win the Super Bowl 2002. All right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.